All right, guys, that was a rough one. All right, so Game of Thrones recap. Hey, what's up? I'm Elijah. This is the What's Update. That was that episode was it was a hard watch. I felt my heart racing after the episode. Oh, whew, whew. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Amazing things that you've waited years for, things that you couldn't have fathomed or anticipated how good the interactions were going to be, and that is Jon and Daenerys meeting for the first time. Davos and Missandei talking. Tyrion and Jon rekindling their once fiery passion and love. And, I mean, Melisandre even said the ice and fire thing. She says the I have united the ice and the fire. And I wanted to jump up off the couch and I watched it with my friends and I'm like, "Wah!" I just wanted to just scream from the rooftops. And dude, okay, but whew. All right, lots of breakdown in this episode. First, things that stuck out to me. Melisandre putting the doom of Damocles on our dude Varys, saying that I have to die in this land just like you do. And maybe that's the thing that the guy in the flames said to him, that he would die in Westeros. So maybe that's a thing. Who knows? Maybe Varys has been alive a long time, like Melisandre has, and maybe his foldy hands technique keeps him living long, like her necklace keeps her young. But that was something that really stuck out to me. But just the brilliance of the actors in those scenes. You can't say enough about it. Like, Tyrion knocking it out of the park this entire episode. With his brooding conversation with Jon at the cliffs, with Jon's reaction to the dragons for the first time, Davos and Jon being like, "Oh snap, dragons are a thing!" Like all of the acting this episode. I mean, even Amelia, or like just Daenerys. I usually get on her for being all, "I am the queen of fire," and like just getting as serious as she gets. But I gotta say, like, this episode, it was just working for me on all cylinders. I was like, hell yeah, you've been there. Titles. Say them, Missandei. Say the titles. Let's do it. And it was really a comedic moment when Davos was just like, "This is Jon Snow, King in the North." Yeah, guys, titles. No, he doesn't have as many titles as Daenerys. But just the brilliance in all those interactions, the way that they were sparring with their words, trying to gain any ground and gain any footing. I thought last week that was one of my big theories that he's not going to bend the knee. That's not going to be something that he does. But let's transition to the rest of the episode because it does really reflect before Jon leaves. I feel like word of what happened or what's happened around the kingdom we'll get before Jon leaves with some dragon glass in hand to head back north. It'll basically galvanize Daenerys and Tyrion to get Jon to join their side because they're weak now. Losing the Dornish, the Greyjoys, and the people of Highgarden. When you watch the end of last season, you're like, wow, Cersei really has nothing on to go for her. And I theorized that maybe Euron would be an option for her, but Randall Tarley, I don't think we could have saw that coming. Or it's just one of those things. Him saying loyal to the realm and fighting against the savages invading, that makes a ton of sense to me. And the realm rallying around Cersei in the fact that now Daenerys is going to have to invade with dragons and Dothraki. Like she said that she didn't want to burn the kingdoms or she didn't want to rule in that way, and it's going to be what happens. So I think Jaime made a excellent move, and the fact that he learned the move from Robb Stark is even more heartbreaking. Like when he said that line, it's like, "This is a thing I learned from Robb." I was like, "Oh, it hurts. It hurts." I do think that now Daenerys is just going to move her army basically between the Lannister army coming back up from Highgarden and King's Landing, and I think Daenerys is going to put all of her Dothraki there, because she wants to fight them on land with the dragon. She doesn't want to fight them at King's Landing, and we've already had a battle at King's Landing, so it doesn't make sense that there would be another battle at King's Landing. So it's good to see that's going to escalate and play out. It seems quicker than, there's only 7 episodes, so of course things are going to play out quickly and escalate fast. But just all around wins by the Lannisters, talking to the Bank of Bravos and convincing them of their worth and their backing, basically like, hey, back us, because look, we've already drawn first blood. This is how we're going to pay you back. And doing her Lannister always pays a debt, and then going at the slavery thing. Like, it's really calculated and smart. I can't believe that Cersei is doing this well. It only bodes badly for her, basically. It's like, wow, she's only made good decisions this season, so she's probably going to end up, making a spectacular, stupid decision here pretty soon. The conversation that Olenna and Jaime have at the end of the episode, very foretelling, I think, of a splintering between the two Lannisters on top right now in King's Landing. Maybe the fact that she had to tell Jaime that she's the one that killed Joffrey, just brilliant, beautiful. And that's why when I came into this, I was a little the end of that episode really hit me because I love Olenna. She's a fantastic, phenomenal character. And as soon as you see that army outside of Highgarden, it's just like, she's done. Like, and it's just hard because I got grandmas, and it's just hard seeing that play out, and like how her, I don't know, I don't want to say her bravery, but just how quickly she just takes the wine. She's like, yep, I'm doing this. Like, it's like she just gulped it all. She took it, and then she told him. And I really expected Jaime to pull out his sword and end her, but he did not. He did not do that at all. He walked out of the room, upset, frustrated, but not understanding, but just like, I'm not going to be a monster and murder this old lady for, like, I don't need to ruin the blade of my, I don't need to blood my blade with this. He just left. It was cool to see the two Tarleys with him, and of course Bronn. So I think that's for us as the audience some positioning, or at least just some. That was an important shot because they want to show us who of the named characters or people we've seen before are with Jaime right now. Because I do think that army will get stopped by the Dothraki army in between King's Landing. So. We'll of course do a deep dive tomorrow, and we'll do a breakdown of what's going to happen going forward in the future here. But it's a great episode. It's a great episode. Everything with the Jon and Dany meet up for the first time, that lived up to the expectations. The multiple times that they get to talk to each other, the multiple ways that they get to interact with each other. We saw Theon getting recovered by the Greyjoy, a Greyjoy boat, and with that. It was one of those moments where they're like, there's no punishment. Like, we're not going to, like, throw you overboard. It's like, we're not mad. We're just disappointed. That was the we're not mad. We're just disappointed parent move. And that was, like, harder. And they just, like, left Theon, like, just on the decks. He was like, hey, if you would have tried to save her, you wouldn't be here. So everyone knows Theon's a coward, and I don't think anyone can trust him. That guy's a terrible town. Let's talk about Sansa being dope as hell. Sansa just ruling well. Hey, put leather on that. Hey, we're going to need more food if we're going to protect everybody. Yeah, Littlefinger, you want to hang out? He's like, oh, you're good at ruling. And you're just like, Littlefinger, back up. Why you always like, as soon as the camera panned up to show Littlefinger with Sansa, I was like, of course this fool is just whispering in her ear. As soon as Jon leaves, he's like, I'm going to be next to her all the time. So, great scene with Sansa. I wonder, because Bran's reaction to Sansa was so cold. And me, personally, I think that when Bran says that he sees everything, I tend to think that includes the future. The future, the past, here, now, everywhere, always, anytime. So the fact that he would have such a cold reunion with his sibling leads me to think that he knows something that might happen to her. So maybe he's not trying to get too attached because he's seen her death, or maybe she does. Maybe it's just hard to be a regular person when all this weight is being thrust upon him, and all this. He cares about the conflict. I don't think he's really too concerned with this reunion. And he said that, hey, I got to talk to Jon, like that. That was like, oh, shit, yeah, he's got to talk to Jon. Yeah, he does. Real creep move, going ahead and telling her the Ramsay thing, that he saw that. Like, that was just, I don't know why. That was just weird. That was a weird choice. Like, and I don't know if he was doing that to make Sansa believe him, because she was like, explain to me. I think he could have explained it much better. And I think that part of that is him trying to push her away from him, or trying to distance himself from her, because he knows something's going to happen to her, or he knows what's going to happen. So it's something where he doesn't want to be happy with his family, or be joyful that they're reunited, because he knows the hard times that are ahead, or he knows that ultimately he's going to lose her in a few weeks, or we're going to lose her in a few weeks. So why get attached? Personally, for him, I think that's just a part of it with his character. Not enough can be said about our guy Euron Greyjoy. This show has had a smattering of amazing villains, good, like just good villains all around. Joffrey, Ramsay, great stuff. Carl Tana from Jin Alley, like all these excellent just villains, just good villains. Euron is really just climbing the leaderboards. He's putting up points quickly. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Euron insulting Jaime in front of Cersei, being like, just the way he's sauntering up the stairs, the way he's just standing with one leg up like he's Captain frickin' Morgan, being like, and the kingdom and the realm for your queen, and he's like being like the hype man, and he's just like, your queen, ladies and gentlemen, and he's just like pointing to her, and then he's like a wrestling heel almost, just making Cersei ready for battle, and then Cersei gets up, she's like, boom, this is one for the realm. Like this, just Euron solid, and his ship is really cool the way it just appears out of nowhere, it would seem, and has that like logo on it. He's not afraid for anyone to know where he is or what he's doing at any time. So I really like Euron as a bad guy. The way he dragged the Sand Snakes and Yara through the streets. Yara safely in prison, back on his boat, and then of course the Sand Snakes in the Sand Snake, not Sand Snakes any longer. But the way that Cersei brought them down there, I was really worried because the mountain was there too, and I was like, oh, she's gonna crush her skull. And then, I mean, that was another piece of amazing acting by Lena. Just solid, vicious, destructive, ripping people. The scenery, she's chewing all, like, she did a great job. And Ellaria Sand, just excellent. Like, that scene was well acted. Stakes were high. Like, everything was about that scene was beautiful. It might be the scene of the episode, if not for the last scene, because it effed with my heart so much. That was rough. So this episode, it sucks because Dorne, their army can still march up north and help Daenerys and be on their side, but it just sucks that the Sand Snakes are gone. Ellaria's gone. Beautiful ladies. I will miss them forever. I know the internet is not the biggest fan of the Sand Snakes, but I've read the books and I got a warm spot for the Sand Snakes. I dig the Sand Snakes in the book. They're really cool, and it's just sad to see them go. And Olenna, that's tough town. That's tough biscuits for us. I didn't think we'd get that many for the road this episode. It's pretty. Oh. So Army of Highgarden gone, wiped out, done, donezo, done town, out of here. But the Army of Dorne still in the south. Will they ride north for their Dragon Queen? Maybe not. Maybe they will. Who knows? Maybe Grey Worm's troops and the Dornish troops are going to get back up to the mainland when the Dany's Dothraki is fighting the Lannisters. Perhaps that's this battle. That's what'll happen. Like, the Lannisters will be surrounded on all sides and just get hella wrecked. Maybe that'll be the thing. We got to talk about the taking of Casterly Rock. I think I want to say most disappointing thing about this episode was that Casterly Rock wasn't in the opening buildings build thing. Either was Highgarden. I know why they didn't have Highgarden, because that was like a surprise twist shock thing at the end. We're like, oh snap, they took Highgarden and they used Rob's tactics. Jaime learned. Oh, this is depressing. But Casterly Rock should have been there. We knew we were going there. The previously on was like, we're going to Casterly Rock. So that was rough, because like I was worried for Grey Worm, and I'm even more worried for him now. I guess they took Casterly Rock pretty easily, killed the soldiers there, and then now they're at the rock and they're gonna have to leave it, but not via sea, because of course Euron came, set the fleet aflame, and then he's just dipping out, just taking off, heading on out, being like ha bye. Euron does the drive, just like, let me destroy your ships. All right, cool. I'm gonna head back to King's Landing. Bye now. Okay, bye forever. So. Just this episode moved well. It moved a lot. It jumped all over the place, and there's just so much. That's what's beautiful about the show now. There's so much happening and so much movement, and there's not any fat on this bone now. It's all just like, this is impacting the story. This is changing things. I will say that Jorah got cured a little quickly, but the Sam and Jorah scene, we just need to revisit that. So now, like, when Jorah rejoins Daenerys before they go to take King's Landing, then we're cool with it. But like, isn't like, this is Westeros here, and then like this is Old Town, and this is Dragonstone. So does he have to go all the way around, or is he just gonna go across land? I mean, I guess no one's looking for Jorah Mormont, so like he could just travel across the land pretty easily. But all right, so tomorrow we will get into a deep dive. That was just a quick thoughts, quick recap of the episode, just the things that happened. No Arya this week, sad stuff, but it's okay because no Hound this week, so second week without no Hound. But I think. Jon, maybe. I still think Jon's going to not go back to Winterfell just yet. I think he might head to Eastwatch by sea first. Hopefully we get Arya next week. She'll probably be arriving at Winterfell, and we'll get another heartfelt reunion. Actually, a heartfelt one this time, because Bran was so just like, girl, bye. Like, it was weird that Bran was so standoffish with Sansa. She was like so loving and happy to see him, and she's like, you're the rightful heir of Winterfell. And he's just like, nah. I'm the three-eyed raven. Like, he didn't give any explanation. He didn't talk to her about his journey. Like, it was the opposite of when her and Jon met. Because when her and Jon met back up, it was warmth and feelings and sharing stories. And this is what happened to me. This is what happened to you. Let's pal around. And then with Bran, it was all just business. "Hey, what's up, girl? I'm the three-eyed raven." What is that? What does that mean? You're dumb. I can't explain what it means. I don't know what it means. Like, it was just so standoffish that I'm actually, this is the first time that I've been mentally very worried for Sansa now, because the only reason that I can see for Bran to be that standoffish is that he's seen her death, or he knows that ultimately it doesn't makes sense. Like, maybe emotion's been robbed from him because he can see past and future and present, and he's just seen so many terrible things. Or if you've watched those terrible things happen to your sister, maybe you're I just don't know why he would disconnect so emotionally, and why he would say that to her, because she probably doesn't want to like go be around him now after he said that. So I think he's doing that with a purpose, because he doesn't want them to get too attached to each other, because he knows something's going to happen to her. Or maybe he doesn't. I don't think he sees anything happening to him, because he has to do something to stop the Night King. So that's scary. That's forebode. That's forebode for Sansa. So maybe we will see a scene from his perspective of him watching her die, and then maybe we'll see him change that, and then maybe we'll be like, oh, hey, Bran can change the future or change things. Maybe not, but that's my hope. Because I don't want Sansa to go, but I understand if she does. But she's not doing anything shifty. If anything, Littlefinger's doing the shifty stuff. I do. So I got a lot of thoughts on what's going to happen in this next episode, and we're going into that in the deep dive. But I think the biggest thing out of this episode is that now that so many of Daenerys' allies have been defeated or removed from the board, and it's just pretty much Dany, her Unsullied when they get there, and the Dothraki horde that she has, plus her dragons, which still the Dothraki plus the dragons, enough to take King's Landing, I would say. But now that that's all that she has left to her, I really think that it's going to be important for her to make some concessions to get Jon on her team. Maybe she says, what aid can you send us? And maybe Jon sends the people from the Vale down with Littlefinger. And then maybe Littlefinger tries to betray Daenerys and ride for Cersei. I don't know if that'll happen, but that's where my brain mind is going with that. It's going, Jon's going to be like, hey, I'm going to keep the northern people up here in the wildlings, but I can send you the people of the Vale to help you defeat Cersei. Maybe. And then Littlefinger on the way is going to be like, oh, Yolen Royce, we can't fight for the Dragon Queen. Let's betray them and fight for Cersei. That was a terrible accent. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. So thank you guys for watching the What's Update. Check back tomorrow for a deep dive. I'm going to go into deep theories on everything that happened, when things are going to happen based off of this episode. But it was a great episode, and then I'll be back on Tuesday to do a breakdown of the next week on. So thank you for watching the What's Update. My name's Elijah. Like, share, subscribe, do the thing, Julies, and leave me comments, and so we can talk. We can have a conversation about the show together. We can be a family. All right, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.